Summerland, as over the years I have served as a member of the Kinsman Club, past director and president of the Summerland Chamber of Commerce, past member of the apprenticeship board of Okanagan University College, past chairman of the Summerland Economic Development Board, past president of the Summerland Chamber of Economic Development and Tourism, and past chair of the ICBC car shops for the South Okanagan, and a member of the advisory planning committee for the municipality of Summerland. This election I am running on a pro-growth, pro-industry, pro-agricultural platform, just as I did 3 years ago. I believe that as a council representing the community of Summerland's best interests, we need different market entry and rental housing options close to our downtown to attract young families. We need to continue to look at alternative revenue sources other than taxation. We need to continue to lobby senior levels of government for grant opportunities to upgrade our failing infrastructure, such as our council's #1 priority, the Garnet Valley Water Twinning Plan. We need to support and enhance the Friday night farmers market and to encourage growth in our Summerland's agri-tourist businesses. I am not a politician. I am a proven leader, and I've never been a follower. I speak my mind, sometimes very loudly. I am passionate, approachable, direct, honest, and committed to getting things done. As people who know me say, what you see is what you get. On November 15th, please vote for me, Van Alphen, Martin, Marty.
Thank you very much. I'm going to now move to the questions. The candidates will have the opportunity to respond to the questions in 1 minute. Question number 1. What is your position on the land swap, and are you prepared to reconsider it? I'll read it again. What is your position on the land swap, and are you prepared to reconsider it? Bruce Hallquist, please respond.
Thank you. I think as most of you probably know, I'm in a declared conflict situation with this particular issue. I haven't been participating in any of the discussion at the council table, and I won't be participating in any kind of direct discussion about this issue here this evening. But having said that, as I said in my opening remarks, I've always been in favor of growing the town from the core out, just as was done to the south downtown in pre-1972. This area is no different than they did in 1972, growing to the south. Thanks.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Don Holmes to respond to that question.
It's called the Agricultural Land Reserve. If it was a wildlife reserve, would we take a chunk of that reserve and tell the animals to go find some other place to live? If it was a First Nations reserve, would we take a chunk of that First Nations reserve and tell them go find some other land? It's an agricultural reserve. You can't go tell the orchards to go find some other place. So no, I would take the land. I would.
Ask Robert Hacking to respond to that question, please.
We've gone through a very significant and long process, and a lot of people have made input into that process. And now currently it sits at the ALC, where they're going to take a look at it and make recommendations. Now, I know as the new council comes up, we'll have at least 3 new members, and when the ALC makes their decision, it will come back to the council table for a final vote. And at that time, I think we will be able to take the scope of the entire information and make a well-informed decision. I supported the application going to the ALC, and I'm eagerly waiting to see what response comes back from them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to have Denise McDonald to respond to that question, please.
Almost 10 years ago, we went through a similar process, controversy in this town with North Prairie Valley. The council made exclusion application, the Land Commission approved it for our future growth. All of our master plans feed into this OCP, And I think the town had kind of come to accept that we need to build in the hillsides to protect our arable land below. So this last round of applications to the ALC, I didn't get too involved with it. Others in town took the torch and fought for keeping the land in. I would encourage thoughtful consideration and zoning in the North Prairie Valley land that is out of the ALR. We can do something creative there. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Daniel Papadopoulos to respond to that question, please.
Okay, so I don't know a whole lot on the issue, just basically the basics that everyone's been talking about, nothing more in detail, but I think the land should stay as ALR. I think maybe other land can be used, like Ms. McDonald said here, is creative and just if you build on flat land, everything ends up being perfectly symmetrical and boring. Another thing is I noticed Prairie Valley Road, I was driving up the other day and a whole ton of apple trees are freshly just destroyed. Just it was fresh. Yeah, still apples on the ground from the season. But I don't know, maybe they're putting in vineyards or something else, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I support the ALR. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Janet Peake to answer that question, please.
Thank you very kindly. I certainly understand the value of our farmland. I do believe that we spent a lot of money to take a look at the opportunity of the new OCP amendment. And I would like to, as a new council member, if I'm there, have an opportunity to take a good look at what the ALC has to say about our plan to change it. And in looking at that, I think that all of council would bring their views and their values to the decision that might be made around it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Ken Roddicker to present his answer.
Thank you. I think we need to respect the work that has been done already and the money that's been spent. So the new council is going to have to do their due diligence and make sure that we're going to act in the best interest of Summerland. But knowing that there has been a lot of work done, we can't just toss this thing away right now. And maybe wait till the ALC comes back and then take it to you guys and say, okay, what do you want to do? Because it's Summerland's decision. It's not mine or anybody up here. It's your decision and we'll bring it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Mark Smith to respond to that question, please.
Hi. I support the withdrawal of the application to the ALR, but I welcome any proposal from anybody, landowners in or out of the ALR, that want to change Summerland, whatever it is. I'm biased. Proposals should come from you, not from us. You come to us and say, we want to do this, and that's what we should be discussing. I don't like how this was done. I don't think a lot of people like how it was done, and I think that's why we have 5 people running for mayor and 16 for council. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Aaron Trainer to respond to that question, please.
With regards to the current proposal before the ALC, I have considered both sides and I have spoken with many people. I've been to the city to ask questions and I've attended most of the public hearings on this issue. After careful consideration and research, I believe that given the enormous amount of frustration this proposal and the processes surrounding it have generated, I cannot support it. However, this doesn't mean that I'm against development. For now, let's use our current land for development and take an honest look at where we want to grow and where we can afford to grow. Moving forward, if I am elected as a councillor, I promise to listen to all of you and to work towards improving our public consultation process.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Martin Van Elpen to respond to that question, please.
Thank you so very much. I was on council when we worked on this. We hired the consultants to come in on behalf, to represent, to go out and consult with the public. That was a unanimous decision on council to hire those consultants to come in and represent us and talk to the public. Also, I think one thing we forget is that the land that is proposed is privately owned. If the ALC comes back tomorrow and says, what a wonderful idea, no one has to stop farming. They can give it to their children can give it to their children. We cannot take their land. And their taxes will not change. It's up to the people that own the property. So I would not be reconsidering the application at this time. I would like to see the process go forward. And let's see what the ALC has to say.
I'd like to call on Richard Barkwell to provide an answer to the question.
First of all, let me say that I believe that the land swap is entirely unnecessary, that we have plenty of land that is available for current development and lots of land available for future long-term development in our old plans. Secondly, it was the land that they proposed to put into the land reserve. The previous council only recently argued that it was terrible land for agriculture and should be taken out. I would be too embarrassed to go to the Land Commission and ask for that to be put back in now. So that is, I'm against the swap.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Tony Hood to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. This is a two-part question. What is my position and would I reconsider? My position is to remove the application that is before the Agricultural Land Commission for a number of reasons. Mostly, the agricultural land is in the ALR for a reason. It should stay in the ALR so that we are better able to accept the challenges that are ahead of us. My position on whether or not I would reconsider my position, I think we have looked at this, examined this, we've had public hearings. The residents of Summerland have spoken, and I have spoken as well. I will not reconsider my position on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Call on Erin Carlson to give a response to that question, please.
Let's do it. Just kidding. I'm just going to tell you a quick story. So last December, when this first came forward, I was at the council meeting where they said, all right, let's go ahead with this. And after the meeting, I stood up and I asked at the podium, I said, so are you going to go and tell the community that we're taking this land out of the land reserve? And the response was, no, we're going to send letters to the affected landowners. And I said, okay, thank you.
I don't support the land swap now, and I never will. Why would we jeopardize existing farm jobs in the idea of building houses in the hope that people will come when we have no jobs for them? Some people have supported the land swap with the idea that we need to increase our tax base. It costs $1.20 to service in residential land for every $1 that we take in taxes. Now, how does that work? We're just digging ourselves into a deeper and deeper hole this way. I'm proud to say that the BC Fruit Growers Association has endorsed my agricultural policies. That being said, there certainly are parts of the OCP amendment that are worthwhile, and I certainly would not consider throwing out the entire OCP. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Joel Greg to respond respond to this question, please.
It's not fair to give me 1 minute to answer this question. It's huge. I would support the current application to the ALC remaining and let them judge on it. They're the experts on our agricultural land, not me. I'm not a land use expert. To the candidates you had before you today, who are the most vocal in stopping the swap, as they like to say, in 1995, were on record saying that the land in Prairie Valley has excellent agricultural potential. They can't change their mind now and argue the other way. I'm not a farmer, okay, but I love farmers. I support the farmers here. I love Buck Barkle, my farmer. I go to him all the time. And he and I have discussions on this all the time. And we disagree, but we agree on some points. So would I reconsider? Absolutely. I'm not inflexible. You've heard all these people stopping the swap. There's no flexibility in their position. They won't reconsider it. I will. I'm open. I'm open to logic. But to me, given the situation, it makes sense. And I will let the ALC rule on it and abide by their opinion.
Thank you. I'd like to move on to question number 2. What commitments are you prepared to make regarding enhancing and supporting arts and cultural experiences in Summerland for tourists, prospective residents, and current residents? I'm going to read it again. What commitments are you prepared to make regarding enhancing and supporting arts and cultural experiences in Summerland for tourists, prospective residents, and current residents? I call on Daniel Papadopoulos to respond to that question, please.
All right. I know I've been to Stanley Park a lot, and they have Art in the Park, which is also artists get along and display their art. Here we have a Friday market, I believe Tuesday. Okay, so yeah, I would encourage that, encourage growth in such things. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Janet Wheat to respond to that question, please.
Thank you very much. I believe arts and culture is important to all communities. And Summerland is very lucky to have the creative people here that we have. I believe the Chamber, with the funds that they have available, should be part of that support. And I believe in the future that Council should be looking at other ways. Our art gallery needs a permanent, established, sustainable funding. And Council should be looking at how they can do that within the budget they have. I haven't sat at that table. I want to see what those figures could be. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Ken Roddicker to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. We know the Arts Council is looking for a new building. This has got to be a priority with them. We can help with that, I'm sure. We've got these empty storefronts. We should have a lot of these arts people in those in a more permanent basis. Also the street markets, they're so welcome to come out and set up in there and show everyone what we've got here in Summerland, because we've got so much amazing arts and culture. We should be able to see it. We should walk down the street and see it everywhere. We don't. So we really do need to bring it out to the front. And also as council, we should be relooking at the funding for the Arts Council. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Mark Smith to respond to that question, please.
Hi. I would like to see some of the funds that we put aside for arts and culture trails go out to organizations that put in proposals and allocate the funds based on the support of the community. Sometimes organizations will start to become popular and they need a little funding to get going and help them out, and they become vibrant. The community becomes involved and they grow, and those are the kind of things that we want to support. Other organizations will start to fade, fall aside, and require less and less support. So it's really you guys coming to us and saying that you need some support. I don't think we should support Arts and Council by tearing down the building that they're in before we have suitable arrangements for temporary housing. Thanks.
Thank you.
environment for artists to practice their skills. In addition, I believe that many Summerlanders are very supportive of arts and culture in our community. Upgrading infrastructure, supporting local business, and protecting our environment are all very important, but funding for the arts adds real life and vibrancy to our community. All of these elements play an important role in the successful development of our city. At this point, I don't have enough information to comment on funding, but elected council, I will definitely look into that.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on Martin Van Elfen to respond to that question, please.
Thank you very much. I think we have an incredible arts and cultural community in this town. Am I an artsy kind of guy? I would probably say not. I see the value in it. I'll remember many, many years ago when my son was, I didn't know what he was doing. He was singing in his bedroom. I guess he was practicing the lead in Les Mis. Thank you to Mrs. Nevin. And I started to appreciate arts and culture much more at that time in my life. I truly believe that this community needs to pull together. We need a cultural plan. We are fragmented all over this community with our arts and culture, and I think we need to sit down with all players and try to come up with something that's going to be beneficial to all users. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on Richard Barco to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. I get a lot of pressure to support the arts with one sister who has a degree from Emily Carr and another one who has a music degree, and me with no talent whatsoever, not even public speaking. But I think that the arts community in Summerland has the potential that hasn't been realized, and they need to come to council with a plan, a vision. It's about time, as one of our mayoral candidates said, that they had a home, a permanent home. And that's what I think we should be aiming towards. It should have community support, private donors and municipal contributions and the arts community. But first of all, it starts with the arts community getting together and saying, what do we want? What should this building look like? And I think that council can facilitate that discussion, but it still has to be driven by the community themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Bill Wood for the response to that question, please.
Earlier today, I had the opportunity to speak with a couple of women at length who are relatively new to Summerland, less than 5 years. And of course, I asked them what drew them to Summerland from where they lived before in Alberta. And one of the things that they said is the lifestyle. And to me, supporting arts and culture means supporting the lifestyle that people come to Summerland for. There are all kinds of things that people come to Summerland for, but I think that arts and culture is a critical point. If we can develop the arts and culture in terms of festivals, support the Arts Council in its temporary establishment where they are now, perhaps that's a spot that we could look at improvements for the old library. There are opportunities out there, and I think that using our resources, we can take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on Aaron Carlson for the response to that question, please.
When I was in high school, I participated in Shakespeare Festival every year that it was there. And we have a wonderful facility just back there where we don't even all fit tonight because there's so many of us that care about our community. And I feel like if we utilize that and we work with the people who have the energy to do things like put on Shakespeare Festival, and we encourage that and we participate in that, then we could do something absolutely amazing. Stratford's really far away. Ashland's really far away, but Summerland's right here. And we could bring people here to see what it is that we all love and what it is that we do here.
I'd like to call on Ron Gordon, please.
The odd thing about our society is that we think nothing of funding sports, but we're reluctant to spend taxpayers' money on arts and culture. sustainable funding for the arts community. The art gallery, of course, is enjoying a better space downtown, but it's inadequate. So one of our priorities is to work with the arts community to get a better space for them downtown. We should be adopting an arts and cultural plan for Summerland as soon as possible. And we should reinstate an arts and culture committee so that we can listen to the people who are actually engaged in these activities. And why don't we have an arts and wine festival in town? I organize Canada Day every year, and it would sure be nice to include the arts and wine communities in that celebration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Joel Gregg to respond to that question, please.
I'm not an artist. I never did well in art class at school. However, I have a son who is an excellent cellist. I also have a sister who lives in Ashland, Oregon, that Aaron just mentioned, so I'm familiar with what an art community can do, how it can draw people in. And we desperately need a home for our art gallery. We had a great one. It's unfortunate that we had to, it's temporary right now, but it's definitely a priority for the next council to find a home for the art gallery. So again, I would defer to the experts. Hopefully, I'm an accountant, right? When it comes time to the budget, I can work the numbers, and I can hopefully find some additional funding for the arts community. It's definitely something I would like to support.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Bruce Hawkwish to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. The first thing we really need to do is get together and come up with a cultural plan, and find out what the community wants and needs are. This community has got a lot of talented people, and we just need to continue on funding these organizations, and they certainly deserve our community support. There's a lot that they can do to help themselves. They're very resourceful people, and that way the less support they have on local government and other levels of government, they can create their own destiny and not have to worry about whether they're in temporary facilities or facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Doug Holmes for response to that question, please.
I believe municipal support for arts and culture is a sign of the community's maturity, and I think Summerland has reached that maturity, so we should be supporting culture. I don't look at culture as kind of an elitist thing where money is given to individual artists. I see it as a community endeavor, and I support community-based arts where programs are made to draw the community into the arts and culture community so that we can all become artists, and that fuels the vibrance in the community, and that leads to economic development. So a cultural plan, yes, but I think you need to look at it. Culture is a cultural plan is an economic development plan. The two go together.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Robert Hacking to respond to that question, please.
A community cultural plan is pretty much a given. We need to have that foundation, so I'm not going to spend more air on that. For me, the arts community needs a facility. The current one is a temporary solution and it's not a permanent solution. So for me, I'll be working to make sure that when Wharton Street developments start coming, the development of a facility for the arts community is part of that design, and I want to see them in a facility that's going to meet their now and future needs. I have an audio background, so cheers to the sound guy. Here's part of the artist.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Denise McDonald for response to that question, please.
Summerland needs to recognize and support the cultural community as a significant part of the business community and promote their creations with residents and visitors alike. Yes, we need a cultural plan. Yes, we need a cultural center. It'd be a great meeting place for the young people. But of course, stable funding is always an issue, and it's the most desired. I would like to highlight the business aspect. A quote from the Chamber of Commerce brochure. Summerland is the only municipality in Western Canada where every business license holder is automatically a member of the Chamber of Commerce. This cooperative stakeholder model means that every local business, regardless of size, has the opportunity to access the same benefits. Perhaps, I mean, this is new,